Hey everyone, and welcome to the Last Action Studios YouTube channel. This is the first episode in our baking vlog. We are going to be cooking some classic Snickerdoodle cookies today. This is one of our favorites. We got this recipe from loveintheoven.com. We'll have it linked in the video description if you want to follow along or try it out for yourself. Let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start with mixing the wet ingredients together. We have our KitchenAid mixer right here, which is really nice for this. This is the Flex Edge beater, I believe it's called. So we're going to put that on here. Yep. And then we're going to start putting the ingredients in. This is a full tablespoon of, this is a half cup, right?
Could be. Yes.
Yes, it's a half cup. Okay.
One stick.
One full stick.
Woo!
Half cup. All right. So we're gonna put that in there. There we go. Then we have a half a cup of regular granulated sugar, and 1/3 of a cup of brown sugar. All of that's going in there. Maybe. There we go. Alright, and then we are creaming this, so I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to throw the shield on there, even though this isn't like flour. It's probably still a good idea to have this on there anyway. Lock that in place, and you want to go to 6, speed 6 for creaming, right? Okay, so let's start that out. Okay, so that's those creamed up pretty well. Now I'm going to add in 1 egg. I'm going to add 1 egg in there after I lift this up. And then a half teaspoon of vanilla extract. Nothing fancy. I guess you could use Madagascar vanilla for this if you wanted to, but you don't need to. And then this we're going to beat until it's smooth, so that would be speed 4. Okay, so you can see here that we've got a little bit, actually quite a bit, of a ring developing around the inside of the bowl here. Let's just take a spatula and go ahead and push that back down into the rest of the batter, because that is all good stuff. We want all of that in the dough. There we go, that's better. And we'll keep beating until it's done. Alright, so this is pretty well beaten up. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now we'll move on to the dry ingredients for the next bit.
Alright, we're going to mix up our dry ingredients now. We have a 1.5 cups of flour, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, it's being stubborn, and a 1/4 teaspoon of what the Brits like to call
cream of tartar,
or as we Americans say,
cream of tartar.
Now we will mix this up, and then we'll add our dry ingredients to our wet.
Alright, so we have our wet ingredients mixed up here, and we have our dry ones mixed right here, and now we need to combine them in the mixer. We're going to do this slowly because the dry stuff has a lot of flour in it, and if we put too much in at once and turn the mixer up too fast, it will fly out and make a mess. So we're going to do this nice and slow. We're definitely going to want that shield so that we don't get flour in our faces. Well, let's give this a try. Okay, so we have our finished combined dough here. We're now going to be throwing this in the refrigerator for between 30 and 60 minutes. And we have it covered in saran wrap to keep it from drying out while it's in there.
Yeah, and so the reason we're going to put it in the refrigerator is to chill the dough. Now, chilling the dough is going to re-solidify that butter, creating a firmer dough. And that firm dough is going to prevent the cookies from spreading too much while they're baking.
All right, and we'll come back when that's done. Alright, so our dough has firmed up in the refrigerator. We did leave it in there for the full hour. And now we need to get it from here to there to there, because we need to get it covered in the cinnamon sugar mixture that we have here. So to do that, I'm going to use this really neat little gizmo, which has a little squeezy handle that rotates this little thing across the inside of it, which makes it really easy to get sticky dough out. Just grab a big old chunk of dough, and then I'm not actually going to put it right onto the sheet. I'm actually going to put it in my hand and then roll it a little bit till it's roughly ball shaped, and then gotta dunk it in the cinnamon and sugar. And yes, your fingertips are going to get cinnamon and sugar on them. On the bright side, that just means that you get to lick your fingers when you're done, and then gently press it onto the baking sheet, and repeat that for however many cookie dough balls you end up making out of this. So we were wondering why these cookies are called Snickerdoodles, and so we did a little bit of research, and this is what we came up with.
So everybody's favorite authority on everything, Wikipedia, gives us a few possible origins of the word Snickerdoodle. So, Joy of Cooking claims that Snickerdoodles are probably German in origin, and that the name is a corruption of the German word Schneckennoodle. Another reason is that it could have originated from a New England tradition of whimsical cookie names, meaning that it's simply a nonsense word with no particular meaning. And then the final reason that they give is that the Oxford English Dictionary claims that the word's origin is uncertain, but it might possibly be a portmanteau of the word snicker, an imitative English word with Scottish roots that indicates a smothered laugh, and doodle, a German loanword into English meaning a simple or foolish fellow. And then they also add that it was first recorded in the Oxford English Dictionary in 1889. And there you have it.
That is your interesting tidbit for this episode. How the Snickerdoodle, well, not exactly how the Snickerdoodle came to be called that, but just some theories, hypotheses on how that came to be. My hands are all greasy. Mm-hmm. Never fear, I shall survive. Alright, so we have all the dough rolled up into balls and covered in cinnamon sugar. Oddly enough, the recipe says it makes between 16 and 18 cookies, and we have 17 right here, which is interesting because the little squeezy thing we were using only grabs 1.5 tablespoons, whereas the recipe says to use something that takes 2.5 tablespoons. But we still got the same amount anyway, so that's kind of interesting. But anyway, we have preheated the oven to 300 degrees, and now we need to throw these in there. Alright, so the oven is preheated, and now we need to throw our cookies in there. Alright, now we're going to set the timer for 13 minutes, and I'll come back when I'm done. Alright, so our Snickerdoodles are done cooking. They may look a little bit undercooked, but that's to be expected since Snickerdoodles kind of cook themselves for a little bit after they come out of the oven. So we're just going to wait and let these cool down for a bit, and then we'll see how we did. Alright, our cookies have cooled down enough to transfer to the cooling rack. Alright, all the cookies are transferred. Now I just gotta let them cool down to edible temperatures to see how we did. Alright, so our Snickerdoodles have cooled off, and now it's time to see how we did. They should be soft and chewy in the middle if we did it right, and it definitely looks soft and chewy in the middle, so there's a half. Let's see how they taste. So, a verdict?
I like them.
Yeah.
They don't have the crisp edge, but they're good.
Alright, well, I'd say overall we did pretty good. We maybe could have left them in a little bit longer, because they're not quite crisp around the edges. But overall, they're pretty good. They definitely got a good flavor, and they're nice and soft. So, I'm going to call that a success. So, thank you very much for watching the first episode of the baking vlog, and we will see you later.